Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome to the Brewing Business Show. This is a space dedicated to the craft beer industry and entrepreneurs who wants to learn more about mindset, health, wealth, business, and of course, beer. I'm your host, Pedro Meneses, and before we start, I just want to make sure you buckle up, crack open a cold one, and get ready to hear some life-changing information. Cheers. Welcome back, everybody, to episode 23 of the Brewing Business Show. If you're a first timer, be sure to check out the previous episodes and do me a great favor, man, and leave me a review on iTunes so you can help more people to find the show. And today, guys, we have a special episode because we're going to talk about one of the most ignored topics, yet the most important area in our lives. So today, I have the honor to introduce you to Marc, aka the Fitness Ninja. Since 2003, Marc has been providing highly effective workouts and nutrition guidance to willing and unwilling participants, providing positive, fun, effective atmospheres that breed success and encourage his clients to push outside of their comfort zones. With 18 years of experience, he recently started coaching other coaches on how to efficiently and effectively grow their business for a long-term sustainability. He is on a mission to make America fit again, and today, Marc will be sharing with us the important role your health plays in your success and performance as a business owner and entrepreneur. So welcome to the show, Marc. It is a pleasure to have you here, brother.
Man, I am happy to be here, brother. This is going to be fun.
I know, man. Like your energy, every single time I have a conversation with you, just saying hi to you, it just pumps me up, man. Like you always have this great energy around you, and like you really inspire a lot of people. So I'm excited that you're here on the show today, man, because I know a lot of people is going to appreciate all the information that you have to share, especially all the business owners and entrepreneurs who follow my show, man, especially in the craft beer industry too. You know, I know it's got a little bit challenging to talk about health when you're in the industry where all you do is drinking beer, right? But, you know, one of the things that I have learned through my experience being an entrepreneur is how important your health is in your life, especially when you run a business, especially during the times like the ones we're living right now. You know, everything is crazy right now. It's easy to be stressed and to overeat and overdrink and do a lot of all that stuff that doesn't lead to any good results, right? But before we get to that point, Marc, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself, tell us about your background so people can get to know a little bit better.
Awesome, man. Thank you. So I'm Marc Zalmanoff, the Fitness Ninja. And I'll tell you where that name came from. So
Absolutely.
Some people, like, I'm not formally trained in martial arts or anything. Usually in the gym, I wear all black, and that's kind of like the trainer uniform is wearing all black. And years ago in my gym, I was coaching somebody. They were doing something, and I'd walked away, and I came back, and they didn't know I was right next to them again. And I don't know what they were doing. They were doing something wrong. I was like, hey, and they were like, oh my God. They're like, damn it. You're like a ninja just sneaking up on people. And then we just ran with it. So that was probably like a decade ago that I've been going with that moniker. So it's kind of fun. And I'm short, like I'm 5'7". So, you know, I'm short and I'm small and I wear black all the time. So I can kind of sneak around. Anyway, so yeah, as you mentioned, I've been coaching for 18 years. I went to school at UNT. I got a degree in kinesiology, so I actually do work in my field, which is odd. And I've been in the big box gyms. I've been in the small box gyms. I've owned my own gym. I've worked out of other people's gyms. And now I currently own brick and mortar in Frisco, Texas. So I have a facility that's about 3,000 square feet where I do small group and semi-private personal training, also do nutrition coaching, also do online coaching. So I have clients all over the U.S., which is super fun. And as you said, also, I recently started helping other coaches learn how to structure their business, especially with COVID. And, I mentioned this before we hopped on here, but back in the spring, at one point I had to shut my gym down. Like I held on as long as I could. I was open longer than I was supposed to, whatever.
Right.
And at some point I'm like, all right, it's probably the responsible thing to do for me to shut down. And I had my systems in place for online coaching, and I was able to transition literally all of my in-house clients to my online platform and basically just keep running my business as if nothing happened. Now, obviously, it was a different format and things had to change a little bit, but because I was doing the work ahead of time, I was prepared for that. And I didn't know what I was preparing for, but when it hit, I was ready. And I didn't have to freak out, and I didn't have to worry about keeping the doors open and paying the rent because, all the business owners listening to this know rent's still due. Like if you got brick and mortar, like we didn't get any relief. my landlord at the gym was like, well, I can give you half off this month, but you're going to pay it back later. Well, what the hell good does that do me?
Right.
I mean, that's not giving me a break. That's just kicking it down the road a little bit.
Yeah.
So, from a business standpoint, it's so important to just, you kind of have to look ahead and not necessarily think worst case scenario, but just think, okay, what happens if this happens? What happens if that happens? I'm a solo dude. Like, the question I always ask myself is, what happens if something happens to me? Like, if I get hurt, what is my contingency plan? How do I keep a business running that doesn't have me in it? And so all those things are just so important from the entrepreneurial standpoint. I'm just making sure that you have your shit in line and that you're ready for whatever the world's going to throw at you. But, and we can get into all that, but man, there's very few coaches in my industry that have been around as long as I have. And I don't say that to pat myself on the back. I say that because I am so insanely passionate about what I do. And a lot of coaches, they get into the business because, they have their own transformation story, or, they really love to work out, but they don't understand that it's still a business. Like, if you want to be successful, it's still a business and you have to treat it that way. And the ones that do, the very few that do, can last like I have. And the ones that don't, once things get hard, like, oh man, I'm just going to go get a job. I saw it just a few days ago in a coaching group that I'm a part of. Some girl was like, yeah, I'm not going to coach anymore. What should I do with a couple of clients that I have? And people are like, well, why aren't you coaching? She's like, well, I'm just not making any money. Wow. All right. So, but here's the thing. In the US, there's 330 million people?
Yeah, something like that.
Out of that 330 million people, there's probably about, 329,999,999 that would like to look better and feel better and get in shape, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
And the average coach doesn't need but maybe sometimes 20 people, maybe 50 if you're running a gym, maybe 100 if you're running a big gym. That's all you need to be successful. And if you're not passionate about what you're doing and you're not really on a mission to serve in that realm, then you don't need to be doing this.
Right.
Because, I'm going to be successful because I love doing this and I will find people to help. And, regardless of what industry, I'm talking to, what avenues we're on, Facebook Lives and podcasts and whatever, any opportunity I get to get my face in front of people is awesome for me. And, so that's why, I appreciate opportunities like this, because it lets me jam out on what I love. And hopefully, if somebody's listening to this, and we'll get into the whole beer industry here in a minute, somebody's listening to this and they're like, man, how do I stay in shape when I'm literally selling beer? Well, there's a way to do it.
Which is awesome. But, before we get into that, I really appreciate everything that you just said, because, most of the people in the craft beer industry who owns a brewery, same thing, they started their brewery because they had a passion for it. Most of them, they come from being home brewers, and then they're just like, they started creating really good beer, and now they decided to open a business, and now they own a brewery. But you mentioned something very important. It's like, you have to treat it like a business, and the fitness industry right now is a great example. And you can see, like, if you guys watching this or listening to this in the future, I think you can relate the difference, well, not the difference, the similarity between the craft beer industry and the fitness industry, how both industries have been affected by COVID, and how in the same way that you have implemented things online and keeping your customer base and how you keep serving your audience, it's the same way that many breweries have done so far, and they have thrived during this time. So this is the reason why, guys, I bring people like this to the show, because, success leaves clues, and in order to be successful, you can learn from different industries. As a matter of fact, you should,
Yeah, absolutely. And, a lot of people that are probably watching this know about Apex, and part of the reason, for those of you who don't know what Apex is, it's a networking group. That's a horrible name for it, but what it allows us to do is surround ourselves with individuals who are succeeding in all realms, in all industries, in all areas of life, and be able to go, okay, well, if that guy's making it in this industry, and that guy's winning over here, and that guy's winning over here, well, surely I can do the same thing. And, most of the people in our group are super humble. Nobody's walking around bragging about what they do, but they definitely share what they do in order to help us learn. And, I think it's so important to surround yourself with the right people. I was just on a call right before this that, for a long time, my problem was I didn't have anyone around me. It wasn't that I had the wrong people. It wasn't that I had haters. It was I just literally didn't have anybody around me. It was almost unintentionally, I isolated myself thinking I was in this alone and that I had to figure all these things out. And once I got my head out of my ass and went and hired a coach to kind of help me figure out, okay, how do I grow my business? I was stagnant for so many years, but how do I grow into a business person in the fitness industry, not a coach that just shows up and trains his clients? That's when the whole game changed. And like you said, it's so easy to sit there and commiserate with other people that, oh yeah, things are tough. Oh yeah, it's really hard. I mean, we can all do that. We can all complain about shit all day long.
Yeah.
But when you get the right people in your circle that are like, dude, let's solve some problems. I know I've talked to you. I got a buddy that owns 903 breweries up in Sherman, Texas. And,
yeah,
I don't personally talk to him often. We graduated high school together, so I see him online, and he seems to be doing great. And, again, it's an example of somebody who he took a passion, but he treats it like a business.
Right.
And he's got a successful brewery. They just had a giant grain silo delivered, I think 2 days ago. I saw a picture. It was enormous. He's like, this thing's going to hold more grain than we used our first year in business. Something just insane. But he's still growing in this time. I've been able to grow my business since March. I've had some of my best months I've ever had as a professional, this year. And so, the mindset side of things is enormous. And
right.
We just can't let ourselves get lulled into what, our mentor calls the force of average and sitting around moping, bitching, and complaining about what's going on. Because when I view the world, I live by something that's coined Memento Mori, which means you could die, right. Remember your death. And I can't control what happens out there. I can't control what the economy does. I can't control what the president does. I can't control what other people around me do. All I can control is my thoughts and my actions and my reactions to what the world gives to me. And if I keep control of that, it allows me to have a sense of peace and well-being, but it allows me to not make excuses, to go, okay, well, what can I do about this? So back to, my gym shut down. Okay, well, what do I do? Okay, well, I move everybody online. Awesome. Time to open up the gym again. All right, what do I do to make sure everybody's safe in the gym? Okay, here's we're going to do this and we're going to do that. And I can control that. I can't control if somebody comes in and they, cough all over everything. I mean, I could kick them out. So probably.
Yeah.
But, I can, there's a lot of things in my power. And as long as I recognize what those are and not worry about the other things, then it's all good. And, we so often just get wrapped up in thinking, well, this person did this and the governor did this and, they shut me down. And you know what? If that's the case and there's literally nothing you can do about it, don't waste your time and energy on it. Right? Put that, redirect that focus onto what you can do instead of worrying about what you're not allowed to do.
I hope you guys are paying attention because he's teaching me a lot of stuff too right now, man. I really appreciate it, because this information is so valuable right now, especially it challenged people's minds, and especially in this industry, like you in the fitness, craft beer industry, you both need people, right? But if you were able to find a way to keep a business without people, the same thing happening in this industry. And that's the whole point of this show, like have be that link between the craft beer and the rest of the industries where they can take ideas, examples, stories, success from other people and implement it in their business. So I really appreciate you putting all this on the table, man, because this is something that I think this is the type of information that transforms someone's life. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. And I obviously see it in the fitness industry all the time of just, I think it's people in general, like adversity gets to people and most people don't put themselves in a position to be tested mentally often enough. And I wrote something about this a few weeks ago about, how do you learn to be tougher? Well, it's a shitty answer, but the answer is be tougher.
Right.
And sometimes that requires putting yourself voluntarily into situations that require more mental toughness. We live in a very comfortable world, like more comfort than humans have ever had in existence. And especially in the US, I mean, the poor people have it better than most of the people in the world still. Yeah. We go from our air-conditioned home to our air-conditioned car to an air-conditioned building. And, I know there's people that are hungry, but the majority of us are not hungry. There's food, 2 seconds away from our hand at any point in time. So you got to keep perspective of those things and understand that, people want to talk about privileged. Like, we're all privileged. Like, America is privileged. Right. It's not white privilege, a brown privilege, we're all fucking privileged for being here. And right. And when you recognize that and understand the opportunity that we all have, it just, again, it frames your mind in the right spot to solve a problem, not look at what's wrong. And it's, again, not everybody's cut out. Not everybody's cut out to run a business. They're just not. I mean, that's a reality. I don't know what the stats are, but the stats of people starting a business and failing are humongous. Yeah, there's very, very few people last past 6 months, a year, 2 years. Once you get that 5-year mark, then apparently you at least fudged your way into something. And then somewhere down the line, you actually figure a couple of things out, and you're like, okay, I think I got it. Maybe. I don't know.
I know. And it's just a requirement to build a business. It's actually, I think it's like around 80% of businesses that fail between the first 3 to 5 years. So it's a huge rate. And what you were saying, you're right. We all privileged. I grew up in a third world country. I mean, I had a good life. I come from a good life, and things are not the same way, different things in different aspects. But after 7 years living here in the US, I totally agree with you. We all privileged here, like, people that is homeless, they have fucking phones, like, like for real, and I help them. And I when I see someone in the stoplight, I give them money or something. But the fact that you can see somebody having a phone being homeless, I mean, it's a privilege that other people doesn't have. Other people don't have even access to clean water. When here you can be homeless and still be on Facebook, and post selfies of your homeless life and some shit like that, So that's how. I think that's a great perspective to have too. So if you have, and the other thing is that if you have that privilege, like if you have the opportunities, you also have the obligation to do something to change someone's life, not only in the US, but everywhere around the world. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I think too, we worry so much about things, again, that are out of our control. And honestly though, like, in the worst case scenario for most of us, still ain't that bad. Yeah. Like, if I lost all my clients tomorrow, like the gym blew up and every one of my clients died in a plane accident, like the craziest thing happened, like I could go out tomorrow and make money somewhere. Yeah. You know what I mean? I could go around the neighborhood and mow lawns. I could go work at Walmart. Like, there's always something that can be done. Like, it may not be what you want to do at the time, but there's always opportunity somewhere. So again, I just encourage people to look for the solutions and not focus on the problems, because, where our mind goes, where our focus is, right? Yeah. And so if you're always thinking, okay, how do I solve a problem? How do I grow my business? How do I make better beer? How do I get it into the hands of more people? Well, your subconscious is always working. And that's those aha moments where you're like, oh, I got an idea. It didn't come out of nowhere. It's been brewing in your head. Like, you've been thinking about it subconsciously because there's a problem you wanted to solve. And so all of a sudden, when the idea itself gets manifested into something, that's a fully fledged idea, that's those, oh, I got it. Here's what we're going to do. That's been in your head for 3 weeks. It just finally came out. Yeah. But if you're thinking in that realm all the time, that's how those things happen. And I put out a ton of content on social media, like every day, 3-4 times a day. And I've had people ask me, like, where do you come up with all this? I'm like, I mean, and to me, it's a valid question. You know, it's a lot of shit that I'm putting out, and most of I don't copy paste myself a whole lot. So, you know, every now and then I'll see an old post from like a year ago. I'm like, nobody remembers that I wrote this. And I'll put it out. But for the most part, like I'm constantly writing and making new memes and stuff like that. But again, when your focus is so generated in one realm, I don't want to say it's easy, but it gets easier because that's all that's floating in your head all the time. You know, I got health and fitness running through my head and Cadbury eggs all the time, right? And so it makes the process a little bit easier to solve the problems that I'm trying to solve.
Yo, absolutely. I totally agree with you. And I have experienced exactly what you're saying, you know. And now turning more into the health part, you know, like I know one of the being healthy, you know, working out, taking care of your diet is something that influences your mindset as well, right? So talk to us a little bit more about more of the health. Let's start getting into the healthy part, you know, like why it's important to actually keep good health, you know, if you are running a business.
Yeah, you know, so I think one of the biggest things when you're a business owner is stress and figuring out how to manage that stress. And I don't care what level you're at. I don't care if you just started or you're a multimillionaire, you are stressed. That's just a fact. That's what we deal with. And healthy people deal with stress better than unhealthy people. You know, you see like in a movie where, you know, you got the big fat guy and he gets all stressed and red and then he has a heart attack. And, you know, I mean, that kind of happens. Like that's not like just Hollywood going on there. Like that shit happens.
Yeah, it's real.
And yeah. And, you know, there's something about when you work out and, you know, the people that know me and have trained with me understand you've had a workout or two with me too. You know, when you physically exert yourself in a manner that makes you question why the fuck you're working out, like that's a good workout. And like we had one of those yesterday in the gym. Like everybody was like, what the hell was that? But those things make the rest of the world a little bit easier. And when mentally, especially for those people that wake up and get their workout in early in the morning, like you go into the gym and you work hard. Like, I don't mean doing 3 sets of 10 on bench press and texting in between sets. I mean like working hard, drenched in sweat, labored breathing. It gives you perspective of what hard really is. And again, it puts your mindset in a place of, well, if I can get through that, surely, you know, this email of an angry client, I got it. Like I can handle that. And, you know, all we can talk about the hormonal side of things. You know, when you work out, it releases endorphins and you feel better. But, you know, it really, to me, a lot of the workout aspect is the testing of yourself and fighting through that uncomfortableness. Because as a business owner, that's what we do damn near every day. We just fight through uncomfortable situations of like, how am I going to pay the bills and how am I going to open my business back and all those things. And so it just allows you to handle adversity better, and it physically makes your body less stressed. So when you're healthy and you're feeding yourself, for the most part, appropriately with healthy food, everything just works better. Your mental clarity is better. You don't get as tired. You don't have that brain fog. And you have the energy to go through these days where, again, the demands of a business owner are different than those who don't. You know, when you just have a 9-to-5 job, you know, again, I'm not judging anybody. There's some really, really difficult 9-to-5 jobs. Yeah. But when you own a business, you're always on. Like there's just no off. Like you can take a day off and you can say you're off, but like your head's always going. So that's anything in the health and wellness realm, from, you know, good sleep, getting 7 to 9 hours of sleep per night, meditation, you know, just allowing your brain to calm down and be quiet for, you know, 10 minutes a day, reading, you know, again, learning lessons from other people and people throughout history, and just, you know, filling your mind with the right things. And of course, the physical active exercise, like all those things lead to complete overall health, which allow us to handle life better. And then on the other side of things, you know, most of my clientele, I'd say, is 35 to 40 plus, a lot of business owners and entrepreneurs. And, you know, we get to this point where, you know, we finally start making some money and we can enjoy life a little more than we used to. We can do things physically. We can go on vacation and all those things. And, do you really want to do that being 80 pounds overweight and, the walk through the terminal is wearing you out? And then you got to get on a plane and squeeze into a seat that you probably should have bought two, but you only bought one. I mean, that's existence. That's not living. And I think people need to understand, the sooner it's like investing, right? If you started when you're 20, which nobody did, but if you started when you were 20, by the time you're 50, you're a multimillionaire.
Yeah.
For the people that have been working out all their lives and continue, from the time they were in high school up until now, they're good. The ones that are like, I'm pre-diabetic, I got high cholesterol, I got blood pressure medication going on. If you don't start doing something now, you're really going to pay for it. And all that hard work and all of the sacrifice of building this empire, this business, whatever, and neglecting your health will come back to haunt you. And I've seen it. I've seen it firsthand. I've seen people walk in my gym 55, 60 years old. I know they got the money, but their health is shit. And if they don't do something about it, which, I love when they walk in my door because that means they're ready to do something. But, most people just don't. And so, they work all these years and build all this money up, and then they suffer for the last 15, 20 years. Because look, we're all going to live a pretty long time because of modern medicine. We can be kept alive for a really long time. If you got good money, you can really be kept alive for a long time. You're like, give me whatever I need. But is that the quality of life you want? Do you want to be sitting around, stuck in your lazy boy because everything you do is exhausting? Or do you want to be out living and enjoying life and really soaking up the fruits of your labor?
And that's some real shit right there, man. Like, it is very eye-opening, raw and real, like I like it, and I really appreciate it because, if this doesn't scare the shit out of people watching or listening to this, man, I don't know what will, because I understood that a long time ago. Well, not that long, maybe a couple of years ago. I was a smoker for almost 16 years. That was half of my life being a smoker. I never took care of my health and all that stuff. I started working out. I quit smoking almost 2 years ago. I've been feeling better. But one of the best experience I have that can prove exactly what you're saying is right now during COVID. When COVID hit, gym shut down, I stopped going to the gym. That threw off my entire routine, because I'm the kind of person that I have my routine, and you put something in my routine that is gonna change a little bit something in my day is gonna fuck my entire day. That's just how it's structured I need to be, So it threw off my health and working out. Like, I didn't work out for 2 months, almost 3 months. During those 2 or 3 months, I was stressing, I was anxious, I was pissed. I was fighting with my wife all the time. I was a piece of shit, basically, And when they reopened the gyms, I remember that I started working out again. And dude, for the past 2 months, I've been feeling like with more energy. We have been able to create more systems and processes for what's coming right now for my business and the real estate stuff that we're doing with my wife too. We've been able to progress more and keep that peace of mind. All the shit that you see on social media, it doesn't piss me off anymore. It just make me laugh, But because I have that mental control again, and working out has definitely been helping me to being more effective at my business, So I'm a living proof of what you're saying right now,
Well, and look at, a lot of the stats on COVID deaths, so many people, it goes back to comorbidities of, they had underlying heart conditions, they had underlying, they already were ill in some way, shape, or form, which means their immune system was compromised to begin with. And because they're not healthy and they weren't exercising and they weren't feeding themselves well, a lot of people passed away, unfortunately, because of it. Whereas for the most part, healthy people that are getting this, I know people are like, it's not the flu, but that's kind of what it feels like for a healthy person to get this, where, they feel like shit for a few days, they lose their taste, and then they're kind of, just run down for a few days more, and then they're kind of back to normal again. Yeah. And there's such a lack of focus on taking care of your personal health. We want to give everybody a drug for everything, or give you a surgery for this or whatever. And if we're ever going to if we're truly going to solve the healthcare problem that we face, it goes back to individuals taking care of themselves. That's it. Right. Nothing else will ever solve it. There's no medicine that can solve it. There's going to be no magic pill. Like, that doesn't exist. It's really going to take, unfortunately, generations of people that begin to understand, oh, we need to take better care of ourselves, because everything's so automated now. I mean, that really goes back to people just don't move enough. And, 100 years ago, like, you walked everywhere and you did all your own yard work and your housework and you did all the things, and now we don't have to. Like, we can literally do this all day if you wanted to. You can call and get food delivered to you. If you paid somebody, I bet they probably feed you. There's probably somebody out there, some weird fetish for that. But I mean, you literally don't have to leave your house for anything if you don't want to, which is amazing and horrifying at the same time. Yeah. So, we just have to be mindful of those things. And so I want to talk about the beer aspect. Yeah. Because I have a client that is she's a wine blogger. Okay. So she has this humongous blog. She gets shipped all over the world to go to wineries and drink their wine and eat the food. A lot of European countries where they just shove the food, like, it's not just food and drink all day long, right? And she came to me because she's like, I need to figure this out, because the last thing I want to do is gain a bunch of weight and be unhealthy, because she's a pretty fit person. And so even in these environments where she has little control over her schedule, it's basically like Food and Wine says, hey, we're going to send you here, and it's all paid for, which is awesome. But she has no control over the food that's put in front of her. She has no control over how much wine they're putting in front of her. And we just found a way to navigate it. So a lot of days she tastes the wine and spits it out. She's very mindful of her portion sizes. So, she'll be in Italy, and it's like, God knows how many courses of food they're bringing out, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
insane.
And it's somebody's grandma cooking, so it's good.
Yeah.
It's not like mainstream restaurants. It's like some hole in the wall, Nana's back there just killing it, right?
Right.
But, she looks at things and goes, okay, I'm going to have a bite of that. I'm going to have a bite of that. I know more food's coming. Next course comes out. I'll have a little taste of this. I'm not even going to have that. It's bread. I know what bread tastes like. Next course comes, and maybe it's the main meal. And so in her head, she knows, okay, I've eaten this, I've eaten that. Maybe it's the last meal of the day. So she can kind of analyze, how much food have I had today? So how much of this can I enjoy and be done with? And so it's a very mindful, very, very conscious decision on her part, but it's because her health and wellness is important to her. If she's somewhere where she's being offered some like rare wine that she'll never have an opportunity to drink again, yeah, she's going to have a glass of it. Right. But when it's like, just something that they want her to sample and taste because they're going to sell it, or they are selling it and they want her opinion on it, because she has all the certifications, whatever right. She's like level 4, I don't know what they're called, but she's got she's done all the tests that all the people do. It's like super hard to get. So a lot of times she literally will just taste it and spit it out and be done with it. And so I think the same is going to kind of apply to the beer industry of, if you have to taste the beer, you can taste it without drinking it. And I know that sounds preposterous to a lot of people. Yeah. But again, if it's important, and if your health and wellness are important, you got to pick your spots. And you have to understand that it's okay to do some of those things some of the time. But if every day you're drinking, 1, 2, 3 beers, and every night you're overeating at dinner because you're with clients or whatever, like that's a road to disease and dysfunction. Like, you're never going to be healthy doing that. You can't outwork it. It's too much alcohol. It's too many calories. So you really do have to start creating this mindfulness of picking your spots and understanding that sometimes, yeah, like your buddy made a brand new beer and wants to celebrate. Awesome. Have one. You don't need 4. You can have 1, and 1's fine. So it really comes back to the decision. And like, I'm a bourbon drinker. I'm not a huge drinker. I'll tell you what I am though. Fucking love chocolate. Like, I love chocolate. And And so I have to be extremely mindful of what I keep around in the house, number one, because if it's here, it's going in here.
Right.
But I have to pay attention to, okay, like my birthday was a couple weeks ago. My wife bought me this amazing Black Forest cherry cake. I mean, oh my God, it was so good, dude. And so I just want to sit down and like just shove my face in it and eat till I'm sick, right? But I know I'm going to feel like shit if I do that. And so again, even though birthday or no birthday, like I was very mindful of how much cake would I have at one time. Okay, I had cake last night. I don't need to have cake again today. You know, it'll be here tomorrow. I'll hide it in the fridge so nobody else knows it's there. You know, so I make sure nobody else eats it. But it's just, it always comes back to the decision. And if something's important to you, you figure out how to manage it. And, you know, when you start talking about beer on a regular basis, which typically is associated with a bar, which serves bar food, which is fried food and greasy food and things like that. You know what? If that means you got to pack a lunch, you pack a lunch. You know, you do what you need to do to get things done. And it may not be the most fun thing, but it's also not fun being ridiculously overweight and needing medication. And it's also not fun being winded walking up a flight of stairs. And it's also not fun not being able to play with your kids because you're so out of shape. Like those things are things that a lot of people don't think about until it's too late. And it's never really too late, but, you know, till they're suffering, and then it's really hard. And, you know, I just turned 41, which to me isn't old at all. But even I understand, like, shit gets harder when you get a little bit older. Like, you don't recover quite as much. Yeah. You know, you can't drink quite as much because you're really hungover for some reason. And, like, there's some meme my wife and I saw yesterday. It's like, you know, when you're 23, you go and drink all night and you sleep, you know, halfway laying off a futon bed, and you get up in the morning, you go work out, and all's good.
Yeah, it's true.
When you're 40, you're like, I bought the wrong pillow. I need hospice. You know, like our bodies just shit on us when we get older. Yeah. So, you know, the sooner you can take control of it, the better off you are. But it's I can't stress enough. It's just making the decision that you're going to do something about it, and then taking the action that needs to follow.
Absolutely, man. I totally agree with you. And you know what? I've been a hard drinker my whole life, man. Like, I don't own a brewery. Yes, that's true. I helped and served the craft beer industry, but I always been a hard drinker. And that was one of the biggest challenges for me, you know, because I will have a couple of beers here on Wednesday, a couple of beers here, maybe a Tuesday, you know, if the opportunity showed up. But on the weekends, I will get shit-faced no matter what. That was a rule, you know. It was in my 20s, you know. But I think it's possible, you know. It is discipline, you know. It is answered the question, like, what do you want in life, you know? Like, you would like to enjoy things right now, so later you can live a shitty life, spending your golden years in pain, suffering, like you said, indulging medicine and shit like that. Or would you like to spend your golden years very healthy and able to do whatever the heck you want, you know? And I think it's important to mention that you're not saying don't do it, you know? Just have control over it. Have control of how many calories you take on a daily basis. Have control of how much you drink, you know? Because if you're not that over drinking, it's not going to help you. Why the hell are you going to do it? But that's what you want. Like, deal with the consequences later, you know? I still enjoy my beers in the weekend. Like, nobody takes away from me the beers and stuff, you know? But now I enjoy it even more because it's rewarding to know that I accomplished my health goals. I took control over what I was eating. Now I have a reward that I can enjoy a couple beers. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think, you know, I don't believe in balance, and that's a whole nother issue. But, you know, I think it's all about priorities. Like, I don't see things as a sacrifice. Yeah. Like one of my guilty pleasures also is just cheeseburgers. Like restaurant, good quality bacon, you know, caramelized onions, all that good stuff. And yeah, I mean, I could go out every day and find one somewhere and eat it for lunch, but that doesn't serve me well. That doesn't align with me. That doesn't align with my goals. That doesn't align with what I'm trying to accomplish. So when I go on the weekend and I have one, I enjoy it a lot more because it's not special, but, you know, it's just different from what I normally do. So I can sit there, I can savor it, I can take my time, and then I'm mentally satisfied. And so, you know, like you said, it's not it's not that you can't ever do that stuff, because that's not living either.
Right.
But, you just can't do it all the time. Like, it's just, I mean, you can, you're just going to suffer the consequences of it.
No, a great example is yesterday we went out for lunch with some friends to a tri-tip place here in Frisco. And, it was like we were in the middle of a meal plan right now to get to our weight goals and stuff like that. But we were there. It's like, I'm not going to stop enjoying this, but I'm going to control it, So I enjoy it. I control the portions and what I ate, and it was freaking amazing. I still enjoy it, but I didn't feel bad with myself because I enjoyed the food, but I didn't show my face with food like I used to do in the past, and got me 20 pounds overweight and shit like that. So
I think that's if there's one takeaway as far as nutrition goes, especially for people that are eating out a lot, that are eating in restaurants and bars and things like that, it's you can always control the portion size. So if that means you only eat half, then you eat half. And, like a burger that I make at home literally has half the calories of a burger that I eat at a restaurant, or less, and so, some people see it as wasteful. Well, take the other half home, or split something with somebody. Like if you're with a buddy or something, go, hey, you want to split a burger? Awesome. That's, nothing wrong with that. Like, put pride aside and split something with somebody. Like, that's the one thing that we all have control over is literally how much we eat. So even when the food selection isn't that great, even when it may be, fair food or whatever, you can still just not eat so much. And if you look at it from a calorie standpoint, like all of us only need so many calories to function every day. And most people eat way more than that. Like we don't need as much food as we think we do. I'll put it that way. And I think we've been conditioned for so long to clean your plate and get value. And, that's why the portion sizes are enormous at restaurants, because they're trying to give you value. Right. But what happens when you go to a really nice restaurant?
Yeah, the little pieces.
Tiny portions, right?
Yeah.
But we think they're tiny, but that's really what you probably should be eating. You don't need a trough of pasta that, Olive Garden wants to give you, but that's what they do, because they condition us to look for value and not quality. So like I said, if there's one takeaway on the nutrition realm, is just control how much you eat. Just eat half. Just start with half. You'll be fine. I promise.
And I think that you said that can be a good start for start taking care of your health, because let's say that there's a brewery owner right now listening to this, or any other business owner, it's like, dude, I don't know how to control this. How can I start? Do I need to get a six-pack? It's like, first of all, I believe you don't have to get like super ripped to be healthy, right? So, but I know that that's a question that a lot of people ask. So you asking me to get ripped when I'm almost 50 and I have my a beer belly and shit? Like, you want me to get a six-pack? No, that's not the point, right? Explain us a little bit more about what does it actually mean to be healthy. Is that because that's the other idea, like you said, like the restaurant wants to give you this value with all these huge portions. A lot of people, when think about healthy living, they think about having a six-pack and perfect packs and shit, like in big arms, when it's not that way. Explain us a little bit more about that, so people can get a better idea where they can start taking care of their health.
Yeah, I think in the land of Instagram fit pros, you see abs and ass all day long, and that's great and whatever, a lot of those people don't live like that on a regular basis. A lot of them, they only look like that for the photo shoot, and that's it. But, most people just want to be healthy, and health is being able to function throughout your day. Health is not needing prescription medications to treat things that are preventable in the first place. And most people just need to move more. So, if you're watching this and you don't do anything right now, just do anything, literally anything. Go walk around the block. And I know it sounds dumb to some people, but like if somebody's really deconditioned and today they say, you know what, I'm going to walk around the block. Fantastic. And tomorrow they're going to walk around the block 2 times. And the next day they're going to walk around the block 2.5 times. Like, that's progress. Right. And eventually you get to a point where you build some momentum, and then you're like, okay, I can do a little bit more. So maybe I'll walk, and then I'll do some squats when I get to the end of the block, and then I'll walk back and do push-ups on the other end of the block. Like, literally anything is better than absolutely nothing. And I think a lot of people get wrapped up in the, I'm going to have to go get a gym membership, which if it's mine, that's fine, but you don't have to, because I do train online. So you don't have to get a gym. You can just come train with me online. they think, okay, I got to get a gym membership and I got to go buy new shoes and all I'm going to eat is egg whites and grilled chicken and salad. And so they think they have to do all these things and then they do nothing at all. Right. Instead of just moving the needle forward a little bit at a time of, I'm going to go walk today. I'm going to eat a little bit less. There's step one. Boom. If you're not doing anything, that's what I want you to do today. Walk and eat a little bit less. Leave a little bit of food on your plate. And those decisions start to again, go back to mindset. Those decisions start to change your mindset, because exercise itself is a terrible way to lose weight because diet is where it is. But a lot of people start with exercise because it becomes the catalyst for changing their diet. Because you start working out and you're like, well, I don't want to waste all this effort that I'm putting in the gym and then going home and eating like shit. So I'm going to start changing my eating habits a little bit. And then it gets to be like one meal at a time. So they go, okay, well, I'm not going to go to McDonald's anymore for breakfast. I'll make some, make a shake at home. Awesome. That's one more step. That's all we ever need to do is just move one step closer in the right direction. And, before you know it, quote unquote, like you've made tremendous progress and you didn't have to feel like you overhauled your life all at one time. And that's where people get trapped, is they think they have to do everything all at once. So they do nothing at all because it's so much. And most of us just don't function that way. Like we progress slowly. Like nobody grows their business from 0 to 10 million in 6 months. And if they do, I want to talk to them because that's awesome. Or you're selling drugs or something. But, nobody grows a business like that. Like we understand the business realm of progression and moving things forward. So the same applies to our health. People just don't view it that way. So, again, just any step you can take that's a little bit better, not the best, not perfection, but just a little bit better. You don't drink water, drink a glass of water today. Like for real, drink some water. If you drink 2 glasses of water, we'll drink 3 tomorrow. Just all those little things, they really do add up and build our confidence that we can. That, oh, you know what, I can lose weight. All of a sudden you step on the scale and you're down 5 pounds and all you did was walk around the block every day and eat a little bit less. You're like, oh, well, what if I did a little bit more? And that's that internal motivation that we all have to develop at some point, because nobody's going to hold your hand through the whole thing. I mean, I can lay the best plans out for all my clients. I can have the best workouts in the gym, but if they're not willing to show up and do the work and change themselves, then it doesn't even matter. The tool is the tool. A saw doesn't do anything when it's laying on the ground. You got to pick it up and move it. So, you have to utilize the resources around you, but take control of your own actions to make things happen.
And that's very powerful. And that's a principle that can be applied in every area, not only on your health, like you were saying, on your business, like one step at a time. That's how you build momentum, and that's how you're going to build momentum for you to walk towards a more healthy life and be in a better shape and feel better with yourself, because you really start feeling better when you put in the work and eat healthier. Like I've been feeling great, man, for the past couple of weeks. It's like, I feel amazing, and I still enjoy my stuff. So that's awesome. And thank you so much for sharing all that. I hope it's helping you guys to understand that even though you work in the craft beer industry or any other industry, you still can live a healthy life and take care of yourself. You can enjoy your life and the fruits of your hard work later in the future, But talk to us a little bit about your movement, man, because that's something that when I first met you, it was something that really caught my attention. You're Make America Fit Again. Probably a lot of people are thinking like, why he's wearing is Make America Fit Again. Tell us a little about your movement and some of the experiences that you have had wearing that hat, man.
Yeah, obviously it's a play on a certain politician, and I knew it would get attention. And I never really, honestly, I never intended for it to like be what it is now, but I just ran with it. So whatever. And I wear this hat around town and, I'll get these old dudes be like, I like your hat, son. I'm like, you didn't read it, whatever. Like I know they think they know what it says, but it doesn't say what they think it says. But, it really is my mission. Like I really do want to help as many people as I can be fit in every sense of the word. And that's why a lot of what I talk about isn't just health and fitness. It's the mindset. It's, stress management, it's sleeping properly, it's your relationships, like all those things go into a fit individual. And, being able now to even help other coaches learn how to grow their business has been awesome, because if I'm going to make the impact I really want to make, I can only reach so many people myself. But if I can help a business owner in New York that's running a business that has a facility like I have that's been shut down, if I can help that guy continue to grow his business, then that means he goes and helps more people too. And that's how this thing spreads. And so, the Facebook group, my Make America Fit Again Facebook group, has been great. I love seeing the conversations in there and the memes and just providing value and education for people as well. I want to have fun, obviously, but, I also want to educate people and just make them more aware of certain aspects of this and how they can live a better life and live a happier, healthier life. So it's been really fun to kind of just roll with this thing. And obviously the message is easy to understand. I want to make America fit again. I want to change as many lives as I can. But I want people to have fun too. Yeah. And, that's a huge part of not only my business, but my own personal core values is just, having entertainment and having humor and regardless of how horrible the workouts are some days in the gym, making sure that people leave with a smile on their face and just really enjoy the process and the community of people. And I think that's one thing that I enjoy almost more than anything else is just being around positive people and creating this culture where everyone's accepted. And because we all know we're working towards better, right? There's no judgment. We're all trying to attain this beauty thing over here. Like there's none of that. It really is, where are you now? And how do we get you to be healthier? My dad is 72 years old and he takes one aspirin a day and that's it. He's on no medication. He's not overweight. He moves well. And every time he goes to the doctor for a physical, they're like, you didn't list your medications on here. And he's like, I don't take anything. And he had this nurse one time. She's like, what do you mean you don't take anything? He's like, I don't take anything. Like he literally takes nothing because he takes care of himself. And that's what I want to be. I got clients in my gym. I got this one guy in my gym. He'll be 70 this year. And he's a little dude. He's like, I don't know, 5 foot. He's shorter than I am. I'm short. He's like 5'5", 5'6". That fool deadlifted 280. Wow. And he weighs like $140. Wow. And I look at that guy. I'm like, I want to be like that guy when I grow up. There's these people around me that are just this inspiration, and I see it, and I see that it's possible. Yeah. And that's probably the biggest thing is, I got 2 kids too. I have an 18-year-old and a 13-year-old. And so you begin to think of like, what kind of world am I leaving to them, or am I leading them into? And I want to set that example of here's what living a healthy life looks like. And here's how fulfilling a healthy life is. And here's healthy in your mindset, not just your body as well. Because I've always been a pretty happy guy. Like anybody that even knows me from when I was a kid, they know I've always been pretty happy. And some of that has to do with my upbringing and the people that were influential in my life. But at some point as an adult, it becomes your choice. Yeah. Because life will fucking beat you down. When you're sitting there wondering how you're going to pay rent next month and you're eating ramen and bologna and all that, like you start to question things. You're like, really, this is what I signed up for? Oh shit. So it becomes a decision to be happy regardless of your circumstances. Yeah. So, am I happier now than I was 10 years ago? Yeah, a little bit, because I'm married, I got an awesome wife and I got more money in my pocket. So, yeah, I mean, that makes me happier. But you really just, it's that decision to be joyful and be grateful for things. And so I think all those things revolve around a fit person. And when you talk about, how do we change our nation, right? So all the civil unrest and all the politics and all the people at their throats and people just being shitty people to other people, like how do we really change that, right? Yeah. Well, the way we change it is by changing our individual world. So if I can be a positive impact to you and to Kayla and to, Ryan and my kids and my wife and the cashier that I see at Kroger that looks like they're having a shitty day, and I take 2 seconds to put a smile on their face, that's how we change things. That's how people understand that we're all people. And I hate the phrase that we're all in this together, but we're all here together. And we all, most of us deal with the same shit. Like, your problems aren't special. You're not, you may be a snowflake, but your problems aren't special. So, when you get outside of yourself a little bit and go, okay, how can I serve you? How can I make somebody else's day a little bit better? To me, that's the all encompassing part of someone who's fit, because someone who's fit is physically healthy, they're mentally healthy, they're emotionally healthy, they're spiritually healthy, and they can serve the world in the capacity that they were meant to serve the world in, and not be moping around with all the other people that are complaining.
Wow, man, you just give me goosebumps, because that was such a powerful message you just said there, right there, man. And
I'm glad you're recording this, because I'm gonna have to go back and watch myself later.
I know, man. I mean, he's great. He's great, man. And I can tell you guys that, like Marc mentioned at some point, we belong in the same network, and we are in the same group of entrepreneurs and business owners, and we help each other, and that's why it's important for me to bring people like this, because, like you said, being fit is not only about physically, but mentally and emotionally and spiritually, and all those things plays a role together for you to be successful in life, not only in business, like in your personal life, with your kids, with your family, with your friends, with the people around you. And Marc is a great example of how he helped people, like I said at the beginning, like every time I'm in the same room with Marc, it's like he puts a smile in my face even before we say hi, because I know that he has this good energy that spreads everywhere he goes. So I really appreciate you, man, your message, because I think this is the type of life-changing things that we need right now in the world,
That's what I do, man. That's what I do.
Yeah. So thank you, man. And we've been almost an hour here. That's how fast this went. But I just have 2 more questions for you, man, before we wrap this up. I think you shared very, very valuable information. I'm really glad that we made this episode. But first, where people can find you. There's somebody's interested in your coaching. Maybe they need help with their diet, with their routines, or maybe you can coach it online, or whatever the case may be. So where the people can find you, or even join your group too, that group is really fun, guys. I'm in there, and we have a lot of fun, good memes and good content, And second, what will be the last piece of advice you can give to someone right now who's like, let's say a business owner who's like, man, I don't know what I'm going to do for the rest of the year. I'm trying to keep my business alive, but I'm trying to get healthy. How can I get there by the end of the year, So that would be the last 2 questions.
Yeah. So first of all, you can find me on Facebook, Marc Zalmanoff. There's only me. My son that has the same name as me is not on Facebook. So it's only me. You're only going to find me. My public page or my personal page is public. So if you friend request me, I'll accept it. I have the Make America Fit Again group, Facebook group. So join that. Like I said, super, super fun. We have some good times in there. And I give out my cell number, which is 214-418-8872. That's my actual cell phone number. So if you got questions, shoot me a text, shoot me a DM. I mean, I'm not hard to find. Like, there's only one of me. That's having a last name like Zalmanoff is, there's only one of me. It's awesome. For the business owner, I think there's a couple things. So you have to be crystal clear on what your purpose is. And as hokey as the whole, like, what's your why? Like, I mean, there's some validity to that, because when you're not really clear on why you're doing what you're doing, it makes doing the hard work much harder. And, I hate the phrase of, if you find something you love to do, you'll never work a day in your life. That's some bullshit, because I love training and I do a lot of stuff that I really don't enjoy doing, but it's a part of the process. It's a part of business growth. So, number one is be super, super clear on what your true objectives are in business. And it's more than money. So don't just go, I just want to make a lot of money, but why? Like, if you want to be a millionaire, awesome, but why do you want to be a millionaire? Is it to secure your financial future for your kids? Is it for your legacy? Are you wanting to fight child trafficking, and your intentions are to make a ton of money and donate money for that. Like, you got to understand why, the why behind the why, not just the surface thing. Like, people tell me they want to lose weight. They don't want to lose weight. There's something else. They want to feel more confident. They want to feel attractive to their spouse again. They want to get off medication. It's not the weight that they want to lose. It's the thing that happens when they lose the weight that they're really looking for. So you got to get crystal clear on why you're doing what you're doing. And then second of all, you have to put your mindset into that of a problem solver. So quit worrying about when things are shut down and opening back up and you got to wear a mask and you don't have to wear a mask. Fuck all that. Like, you figure out how to solve your problems and put all your time and energy into that, because every ounce of energy that's spent towards the negative is taking 2 ounces away from the positive. So, get laser focused on what problems you're trying to solve and how to solve them. And I promise you, not only will you solve those problems, but you'll be positioned so much better than the other 90% of people who won't do that. I'm telling you, they won't, because they're just not willing to do the work. And I mean, you could honestly end this year better than you ever thought and enter into next year, which isn't that far away when we really start thinking about it. Like, you can position yourself so incredibly well with your business and your finances and your mindset to just absolutely crush it, when others will continue to falter, because we know that's the reality of it. The 80-20 rule always plays out. I don't care what realm of life we're in. It always happens. 20% of the people have 80% of the success, and you got to decide, are you going to be part of that 20% or part of that 80%?
Boom. There you go. Drop mix. There you go. Thanks, man. I really appreciate it. That was a very, very powerful last advice there, man. And I think, and I truly believe that people will appreciate everything that you have shared with us. Thank you for opening your heart, man, and sharing all this valuable information. And let's keep making America fit again.
Thanks for having me, Pedro. I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, I have a lot of fun, man. Thank you for being here, man. And for you guys listening, I hope you enjoyed the show. And make sure you share it with somebody. Put it on social media, send a DM, a text message, email, whatever you can do to help us spread the word. And also make sure you leave us a review on iTunes or subscribe to the YouTube channel so you can help more people to find the show so they can have access to all this valuable information. And lastly, if you're ready to grow your sales and take your brewery to the next level, make sure you go to onlinemenu.marketingbrewingco.com and watch the free video on how you can sell more beer online. I will see you guys on the next episode. In the meantime, be safe, keep working hard, and cheers. Later. Hey guys, thank you for watching. This show was brought to you by the Marketing Brewing Company, an industry-leading marketing provider and coaching firm. If this episode have provided with valuable information for you and your business, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. And if you know somebody who needs to hear this, share it with them. Send me a text message, a DM, put it on social media, whatever you can do to spread the word. And lastly, if you're a brewery owner ready to take your business to the next level, make sure you head to marketingbrewingco.com and fill out the form to get started and get your free assessment of your current marketing and sales strategies. I will see you guys for the next episode. In the meantime, cheers.